Boom. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Yellow Jacket Radio. I'm your host, Nick Hales. And once again, Sean is not here. He's not feeling well. He's actually pretty sick. But I do have with me, again, for the second day in a row, Colin.
Nice to be here.
Yes. I thought it was so good as a special guest yesterday. I decided to have him back. He's just so nice. Great. Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm glad that it's Friday, aren't you?
Oh, yes. I'm very glad it's Friday. This week has kind of been gone pretty slow, so hopefully the weekend can go even slower.
I've always noticed this. The fast forward button works on the weekends, but not during the week.
Yeah. I don't understand that.
You know, I think in one country the weekend is 3 days and the week is 4. I don't know what country it is.
I'm pretty sure that's Finland.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. But I think they probably have more of a what's it called? A different style of government, so they kind of do things a lot different than we do here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we try to make the most of it on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any holidays coming up, do we?
Not really. Spring break was pretty much our last kind of break until the end of the year, pretty much.
It's amazing how we only have 25 days left of school.
Yeah. Well, today, the schedule was off today because we had a pep rally, and at the pep rally, they were just introducing all the spring sports. You want to talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah. For the spring sports, I think they were doing soccer, volleyball, basketball, and tennis. I'm not sure. Well, I'm not sure about volleyball. I think that was in August. But yeah, they were just doing all the teachers and all. I mean, not to be rude to the coaches, but it's kind of ridiculous to start spring sports a month before the end of school. The season goes into. It's kind of. I'd hate to have to kick off my summer with sports.
Yeah, it is kind of strange. It's 1 month left.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. But I will admit we did have some cool games at the prep rally. I mean, they had one game where the students would, pick up a bunch of things, and each student would get more and more stuff, and they'd have to use the next available item and use it, put it under their rear end, and try to pop a balloon with it.
Oh, wow. Was it like a relay kind of like thing?
Mm-hmm, kind of like a relay, and it was awesome. And
that's funny.
They did have the tricycle race with the teachers, and it was hilarious. By the way, the seniors won I'd say about a foot. By about a foot we won, but hey, a win's a win in my book.
Oh, wow. I remember I think my math teacher, Miss Taylor, was doing the tricycle race.
Was she for the seniors or the juniors? Or freshman or sophomore?
Oh, she's a teacher.
I know, but each grade level had.
I think junior. I think juniors.
I think so. I didn't really know. I was just happy to see my pre-calculus teacher, Miss Diamond, win it.
Yeah,
I think there were 5 people on the senior team, and I think Coach actually right there at the very end spurted out ahead, and I think we won it literally by a foot. But now. You never know. You could have rewatched the film and, it might have been something different. But, hey, we won. I'll take that win any day of the week.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's fun. I mean, it's kind of – the weird thing is when I first thought of it, when they said tricycles, I thought, okay, they're going to be sitting and pedaling, having to drive. But, no, it was actually where you stand on the 2 back rails and you use one of your foot to, propel you down the lane. And it
was like a scooter race?
In some cases, yeah, you could call it that.
That's kind of strange.
I don't know why they didn't use actual scooters. You could have got them from Dollar General for $50.
Yeah, that would have been funny. A tricycle scooter. Think about that. That'd be kind of strange. I don't know how you would maneuver that, but
it'd be difficult.
Yeah,
you'd probably have to have good balance too.
A lot of spring sports, I guess. Soccer, swim.
Yeah, I think it's soccer, swim, tennis, volleyball, and baseball too.
Wow, that's actually quite a lot. That's really cool though.
Yeah. A lot of our teams tend to do very well because we have a very disciplined coaches. Most of them are old school, some of them are new school, but
yeah,
we tend to do very good in every aspect. I'm proud of our volleyball team.
Yeah,
about last year's season. I mean, sure we did. I don't think we went into the playoffs or anything, but I think we did very well.
That's cool.
And plus that's the only thing we play at PE all the time is we play volleyball 5 days a week.
Really?
I play at the same position on the same court on the same side of the gym with the same.
They ought to switch it up a bit, like do a kind of like a rotation.
Mm-hmm. We did do something a week before the break. They had finally gotten a request in for some new equipment, and they had 3-way badminton, cornhole, or toss the bag, whichever generation you're from, because the older generation, they called it toss a bag, but we call it cornhole. And I think they had one more thing. What was it? They had it where it was like a little small trampoline, and you use a ball, you throw it at it, and in hopes that it goes to one of your other 4 partners.
Oh, okay. I think I've heard of that. It's like spike ball or something like that.
I think that's what it's called, spike ball.
But that game's pretty hard, though.
It is. You have to have intense focus to make sure that, because if you miss, I think you're out, and then it becomes
it's really you have to be very sharp and attentive. But speaking of sports, I'm not really a big sports person. Like, I don't really play sports. I do like watching sports, but the one sport that I seem to be really good at when I play is disc golf.
Disc
golf.
I don't think I've ever heard of that.
It's just like golf. It's like golf and frisbee. So it's like frisbee, and there's these nets that you have to. It's not like your traditional frisbee. They have disc golf discs that you use, but you try to the hole. The disc is the ball. The hole is these little nets or these baskets, and it's scored just like golf is, and it's with the disc. It's really fun. I seem to be really good at it.
But we enjoyed it, and it was fun. But yeah, that's actually one of my favorite sports I like to do. I'm not the best at it, but I can play it. It's called badminton. I don't know if it's,
badminton.
So many people like to call it the English version of tennis.
Yeah.
Just with a birdie. And
it's like tennis and volleyball.
It is. Well, it's what the one that we used was 3-way volleyball or 3-way badminton, where you have 3 teams and the net's like up to your shoulder. So, I mean, it's kind of easy to score, but I think the measurement for it is 22 feet by 22 feet for one side. That way you have plenty of room, and you use a birdie. It's kind of like a cone.
Yeah.
It's like an ice cream cone, but very shallow and very fat. And the weird thing is you can use a tennis racket to play it, but if you get one of them cheap birdies, you're just going to break it easily and everything. But if you get a real badminton mitten or a racket, you don't break it as bad. But it's a fun game. I can tell you one thing, you'll get in shape playing it all the time, because I remember one summer, I think I lost 14 pounds just playing that, because me and my cousin, we got hooked on it. Now, sad to say, we had bruised feet after playing it for 6 hours straight.
Yeah.
Literally, we played it 6 hours straight.
Wow, wow, my gosh.
But it's okay. This was early fall.
How do you play that game for 6 hours?
Well, here's how it starts. Everybody comes in and playing it, and you do it for about an hour. Then some people go inside and relax. Well, there's still a bunch of people playing it, and when they get tired, and it was that just kept happening. People kept leaving and kept going in the house to relax, and we just kept the sucker going. But
wow,
I remember whenever we played it during the summertime, I would have to, because I mow my own grass, because I ain't no dipstick or lazy person.
Yeah,
I'd actually have to use my shoe to measure out the whole entire thing, and I would. I cut my grass on 3.5 because, I don't want to dull my blades out that bad. But I'd have to set it on 2 inches. That way I could see the outprint of the field and know right where to put everything. So
wow.
It takes longer to set it up. It takes longer to win than it does to set up. So it's a fun game.
Speaking of lawn games, I remember I used to be a big player of croquet.
Oh, I've heard of it.
I would set up a whole croquet field in my yard or in my family's yard, and we'd play for a long time, like 4th of July. I remember this past 4th of July, I was up in North Carolina at my grandparents' farmhouse, and we did croquet. I set up the whole croquet set. It took me a while, and then I came inside and nobody wanted to play. I was like, seriously? I literally was out there in the hot sun for about an hour and a half setting up this whole thing. Everybody outside were playing. And so I made them play croquet with me. So that was funny.
Oh, yeah. Well, I actually got a joke about badminton. I don't know if any of your viewers have ever heard of he's not really a comedian. He actually is, but he used to have his own TV show, or he was a part of a TV show that was really popular in the 50s throughout. I think the TV show started in 51. It ended in 71. It was called The Red Skelton Hour. I don't know if you've ever heard of Red Skelton.
I don't think I have.
He was a really funny comedian. He was a true American style. There's the joke, because he actually has performed for royalty, for the Queen of England. He's really good. And if you ever get to watch any videos of him on YouTube, they're actually Time Life did a paid advertisement about bringing back the show, but I mean, not for a everyday TV series, but bringing, put them on DVD. That way people can enjoy them. And they're actually really funny. You kind of have to have a thing for old humor to enjoy it. But here's the joke. He said, because, badminton, you use a birdie.
Yeah.
And he said, this naked bird walks into a bar and the bartender asks, "What the heck happened to you?" And the bird says, "You'll never believe it. I was flying too low over London and I got in the darndest game of badminton you ever seen."
That's funny.
Well, you get it because it's a naked bird and going back and forth, you lose your feathers. And I thought that was hilarious. But I mean, many of these younger folks might not understand that old style humor, but I appreciate it. But that's just me.
Yeah, you're an old fashioned guy.
I am. I try. I mean, I try to keep an old hairstyle. It's like I said, I've always tried to get that George Jones hairstyle from the 80s, but I can never come close. But I'm not going to let that dream die. But I just appreciate a lot of older things. Like I'm a vinyl record collector. I collect
as well as I am. I have a lot of vinyl records of Elvis Presley. Actually, that were my grandma's.
How many do you have?
I don't know. I haven't count them, but probably close to 100 in total. Nice. Not Elvis Presley, but I have
all together.
All together.
I think I probably have somewhere around 60, and 43 of them are just George Jones, so you can tell I'm a George Jones fan.
Oh, no, I know you're a big George Jones fan. You're the biggest of the biggest George Jones fan.
I probably am, and I always told myself this. If I ever actually met George Jones, but sadly he's dead. I think he died April 26, 2013.
You think?
Oh, I know. But I always told myself, if I ever met him, after hearing me talk to him for 15 minutes, he'd probably file a restraining order against me.
Yeah.
But
he's like, "Oh my gosh, this guy is way too close to being me."
No, it's not that. It's just I probably have a page I probably have a list of questions from here to Texas.
Yeah,
to ask him. So that's probably why. But I enjoy music.
We all have our idols, I guess. Not really our idols, but we're all a big fan of someone, at least one person. Like mine happens to be a group, the Beatles. I am. Man, if John Lennon was still alive, I would, and I met him, same with you, I would be, he probably, well, I don't know, knowing John Lennon, he probably wouldn't,
file a restraining order.
He'd probably be like, "Hey, all right, man, let's sit down and have a cup of coffee and we'll talk for hours." If I was close with him, he'd be like that.
Well, it's just, back in the old days, it was big if you met like a famous singer or actor. It was like, I remember one time, what was his name? Oh, yeah, Ronald Reagan, the 40th president of the United States, went to a Tammy Wynette concert one time, and that was like, holy cow, the president came. Because normally, most of the presidents, they'll have their favorite music, but normally most of the people they like have been dead 20 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I was ever, doing any shows or if I ever got into entertainment and George Jones came to my show, I'd stop the whole show, tell everybody to shut up, and just talk to yourself.
Be like, "Hey, George, come over here. Get your butt up here. Sing with me."
Yeah. But I just appreciate the older stuff, and I actually still listen to my old records. And I've got a modern turntable, where it plays CDs, 8-tracks, cassette tapes.
Yeah, I just have a portable record player. It's got the Union Jack on it. Call me a hipster, but whatever. I just love. That kind of stuff. I listen. The kind of music I listen to isn't like the modern pop culture music that teenagers these days listen to. Most of them, I listen to a lot of the classics, like what my mom and my dad and
grandparents,
my aunt Kim, what she's brought me. I think that's the main reason why I always like that, because like my mom's side of the family, the ones that all live in North Carolina, I've taken so many trips up there with them, and I just kind of. We have karaoke parties in the middle of the night of like the 70s of like, Steve Miller Band or the Eagles. That's a big one, Fleetwood Mac.
You like Bob Seger?
Yes, Bob Seger. We've done some old time rock and roll.
Actually, I have one of his albums that I got by mistake. Because you know how whenever sometimes if you'll buy from, like not Amazon, but if you buy from like smaller stores like eBay or if there's a certain company that sells through eBay or through Amazon, like I buy records during the wintertime or, when Christmas comes around, my birthday is August 20th and I buy it around there. But normally if they're ever trying to get rid of stuff, like if nobody's ever interested in this album, they'll just like say, if you bought one album, they'll give you these extra two just because they don't want them. They just want to get rid of them. And one of them happened to be Against the Wind by Bob Seger. And it is in mint condition.
That is awesome.
And I got it for free.
That is awesome.
Sad to say, I think it came like a month after Christmas.
The only thing that would make that better is if it was signed.
Oh, yeah. If it was signed, heck, I would have put it on eBay and sold it.
Oh, yeah.
I would have probably put it around $2,000, but maybe more.
Yeah.
But I just thought, normally you don't get good records that are free. Normally, if you ever want to get a good one, you have to pay,
like $50 or more at least.
I actually buy my records from Discogs.com.
Okay.
And that's like a big market. It's big international. I think actually, they'll send me emails saying, hey, this is the record that sold for the most money. I think the most expensive record that was sold last month was around, let's say $2,900.
$2,900.
But it was probably signed, sealed, and never opened, never played.
Yeah.
It was by the Beatles, actually.
Really?
If you actually ever get a chance to look it up, I think it was the Beatles. I'm not sure if it was signed.
Was it the White Album?
I think it had a blue background. I'm not sure, but my phone's dead. I couldn't show it to you.
Because I know the White Album, like even if like a regular record of the White Album by the Beatles, it is a lot of money too. It's like close to $50 to $70 somewhere in there.
And most of the records I buy are within that $8 range. But every now and then I'll risk it and get an album that's $15, $20 that I know I need to add to my collection. Because I think right now I have everything George Jones made from 68 to 90. That's covering
That's awesome. That's
22 years worth of music.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Summer plans. What do you have planned for this summer?
Well,
I mean, you're a senior. You're gonna be.
Yeah, I'll be working on a plantation. Just waking up every morning at 6:30 and work till 7, like I said on yesterday.
Just like you did during spring break. Wow.
Exactly. Well, it's just that's one thing about the plant. If living on a plantation, it's fun. You have peace. You're out in the middle of. I wouldn't say you're out in the middle of nowhere, but you kind of have peace, privacy. But the problem is, it comes. That's one thing.
A lot of upkeep.
There's no such thing as spring break. You're just.
Yeah.
So I mean, it has its fun times and its bad times because if you ever want to go see somebody or go out to eat, you got to travel 10, 12 miles before you get to the highway, and then you got to get on the highway a couple miles to get into town, and it's just. That's the only downfall. Yeah. And 2, crappy internet service. So, so that kind of makes it worse.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's fun.
But I have a lot of summer plans this summer. I'm going to North Carolina again, like I do almost every summer. I end up doing a lot in North Carolina. It's kind of like my free. It's
free pass.
It's the time. It's the time where I can just kind of let loose all my chains of stress and worry and just like run wild
and have fun.
Run wild, live free out in the North Carolina mountains.
Well, just be careful of bears because I mean.
Oh yeah, I mean yeah. Well, yeah, not literally, but I mean I'm like because we go camping. Actually, my aunt just texted me today about an hour ago saying, "Hey, we booked our camping grounds for this summer." I'm like, "Really?" And yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. We always go camping, hiking, biking, mountain biking. That's something we always do. And kayaking. Kayaking and tubing are like the 2 biggest things we do there.
I know tubing, and I actually visited the state of Wyoming not this year, but last year before, or I think it was during early summer, midsummer when it was still kind of cool. And, I mean, it was warm, but I mean, it wasn't hot. And we visited Yellowstone National Park, and it's beautiful up there. But
oh, my goodness.
But if you ever get out in the open, flat plains of Wyoming on the western side near Afton, Wyoming, tubing is really popular out there because, I mean, them rivers will go for miles and miles out in the middle of nowhere. And
you got to be careful, though. I mean, because when I went tubing, I think it was the summer of 2015. Yeah, it was the summer of 2015. I was there, and we had gone to the Cherokee Indian Reserve in North Carolina. And we were gonna go tubing at the campground, or near the campground. So we went up to the top, and when we as soon as we were dropping off into the water, I said, hey, Uncle. I asked my Uncle Jeff, hey, Uncle Jeff, do you have the sunscreen? And he's like, he just looks at me with this wide-eyed,
blunt face,
open mouth expression where he was just like, I forgot, oh my gosh, I forgot the sunscreen in the car, which the car was at the bottom of the river because you park there, you take their transportation up the river and tube down the river. He left the sunscreen. I'm like, well, you know what we have to do? He's like, what? We'll just have to tube down there and get it. And that's what I told him. I'm like, that's our only option at this point. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, we may get sunburned on the way, but it won't be worth it, but we'll have it.
Actually, tubing's very popular in Florida nowadays. If you ever go to
yeah, it is, but I don't think it's as good. I don't think it's as good as
because there's more chance of gators.
Yes, kayaking where I lived in Sarasota, in the Myakka River, was horrible because there was always something bobbing its head around, and you're like, "Well, is that a fish or is that a gator nostril?" And you're like, "I don't know." And usually, it ends up being a gator.
Yeah, most time it is. Well, it's just I know that if you go around Perry, Florida, and kind of go a little more south, like you're going towards I wouldn't say Crawfordville, but you're going right down the curve of the state of Florida on the western side. There's just a bunch of natural springs and natural rivers that are popular the water's so cold and it's so clear. If you ever get bit by a gator, you must be blind.
I've just lived. I've lived on the beach for a very long time, all my life really. I mean, I'm not on the beach, but near the beach, and I've seen it. I've been around it, and I don't, I just love the mountains so much more. It's kind of a thing. If you live in the mountains, you probably love the beach more, and if you live by the beach, you probably love the mountains more.
Oh,
that's true for some people, but I know my family that lives up there in North Carolina. They like vacation. They like going to the beach for vacation for like a week, a few years. But they don't. They love the mountains a lot more. So.
Well, it's just we all have our preferences. Yeah. I mean, to be brutally honest, I'd rather live somewhere where it's flat rather than the mountains. Not saying I hate the mountains.
So Florida's flat as a pancake.
Well, I wouldn't. You could say that. It's more the farther south you go, the closer your sea level gets a lot lower.
Yep.
So you could say it's flat, but then again, it's actually not. If you want to go somewhere that's flat, go out west. Go like to the Dakotas. Well, I wouldn't say the Dakotas. The Dakotas are more open, but it's kind of like Georgia. It has vast rolling hills. They're not high, they're not low, but they're just kind of in that middle. You can see 700 yards away if a deer stood up. But I mean, if he went another 200 yards, you wouldn't see him.
Yep.
But I mean, if you really want to go somewhere that's flat, Wyoming is probably your best bet. I mean, just real flat, Plains, Georgia style. I mean, you drop a water, you don't know which way it's going to go.
Yeah, I don't really know. I think I like the altitude and the hills and the mountains.
The only problem I have with the altitude is I'm not scared of heights or anything. It's just you have a higher chance of getting a sunburn the higher you are.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I remember this past summer, 2017 summer break, and I was up in North Carolina again. And we went to Mount Mitchell, which is pretty sure that's what it's called. It's the largest mountain in the Appalachian Mountains, and we hiked to the top. And that was the most tiresome and just ridiculous trip or event I've ever done in my life. Like that was probably the hardest thing I've done in my life. Getting to the top of that mountain, or as far as high as we could go, Well,
think about how people would do Mount Everest.
I know I'm looking back at myself, remembering when I climbed up Mount Mitchell, the tallest mountain in the Appalachian Mountains.
That's like nothing compared to.
It's not. I mean, it's nothing compared to other things, but then again, it's still something because the whole mountain was, the mountain. What was there's like the whole Blue Ridge Parkway was built up on the mountain, and it was a good long drive up the mountain in a car. So hiking up that thing
is gonna be
as one of my, it wasn't my, I think the very first mountain I climbed was Stone Mountain in Georgia. That was the first mountain I climbed, and then I hiked around other mountains in North and South Carolina and all that. And but Mount Mitchell was the largest mountain I've climbed so far, and it was hard, but it was a lot of fun. I loved every minute of it. And we climbed up to the top, and we biked down to the bottom.
Oh, I bet biking was fun going down that mountain.
Yeah, we did mountain biking. It was scary though. Mountain biking is like on mountain, like when you start out at the very top and you start going down, it's very steep, and it's really scary because you have to worry about rocks and falling off, and like especially if you go by a cliff and it's like,
oh my god,
you gotta know how to switch gears fast and brake fast, really fast, and balance. And it's like you're going down and you're like really fast, and you just gotta know how to
roll with the punches.
Yeah.
But we visited out there, and it was very beautiful. I got to do some fly fishing out there, which I've always wanted to do. Sad to say I didn't catch anything, but then again, I mean,
fly fishing.
It is a sport. I mean, fishing is a sport, but fly fishing is a sport of its own.
I've never been fly fishing.
It's, to be brutally honest, and actually, I've learned a lot about fly fishing here in the past couple years. It's all in the wrist. It's just one of those things you either love it or you don't. It's about like playing piano. You either love it or you don't. It's about like any instrument.
I love playing piano.
I would tell you one thing. There's always two instruments I always want to learn to play: rhythm guitar and the steel guitar.
Guitar.
I only know one note.
Guitar man. Yeah. I think Mr. Young is going to be teaching me just how to play the guitar, either this summer or next year, my senior year. But what I know how to play, the only instrument I know how to play right now is the harmonica, and
you're really good with it.
And I'm pretty good. Pretty good at that. So
yeah,
and the whole thing is I taught myself, and that was a really cool experience teaching myself. And I kind of, it was in good timing because when I taught it to myself, it was Christmas time. So there are a lot of Christmas songs that I could play that are easy, because that's one of the things that it's hard to figure out when you start playing. What am I gonna play? What am I gonna learn? What's easy for me to learn? I just knew right away Christmas songs. I'm gonna play Jingle Bells and Batman Smells and Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Grandpa saved the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, the reason I always wanted to play steel guitar because that's in almost every country song, going from its roots to, I'd say, about the mid 2000s, there was always a steel guitar in every song, and it would have its chorus, and it would rise and bring the music up, and it would be awesome. And I always thought, I wish I could play that, because it's actually, a steel guitar is basically a guitar, but there's just certain things you can do with the pedals that changes the tune, the style, and how sharp you want it to be.
Yeah.
And it's one of those instruments you can play around with, about like that sound set right there. You can manipulate it any way you want it to be. And it's sad to say, I think it is very difficult to learn. It's about like banjo.
Yeah.
Playing banjo isn't like playing the guitar. I mean, to play banjo, you have to be very, very skilled.
Yeah, the thing with the harmonica, that was this past December that I taught myself, and it's April now, and I'm playing a lot of blues, 12-bar blues, a lot of other blues songs, and just a lot of riffs with the harmonica, and I found myself like listening to like the Doobie Brothers. The Doobie Brothers has some good songs with harmonica pieces. I'm actually trying to learn. If you listen to their song "Long Train Runnin'" by the Doobie Brothers, they have this really crazy harmonica solo in the middle of the song, and that's what I'm trying to learn right now. But I've gotten pretty good at it. Yeah.
Well, I will admit I have heard you playing. You're really good. I mean, I'm not saying you're no professional, but I mean, if you keep at it, you can teach it to your kids someday.
I'm planning on playing this thing my whole life. I don't know if I'm gonna make a career out of it, but
it's kind of difficult to have a career playing the harmonica. It can be done. You just would have to find the right band or right people to work with.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think I am gonna do a career out of it, because that's not really where I want to go with. but I'm definitely gonna be playing it for the rest of my life. Keep on playing it. Always having it in my pocket here.
Why don't you play us a little tune?
Right now?
Yeah, I mean,
all right. What do you like?
There's
this is one that I always play for people that just want to hear something on the spot.
Sure.
You'll recognize it.
Is it Dixie?
No. It's you'll see.
I'm guessing that's something you'd play while you're in jail.
It's Piano Man by Billy Joel. It's the little riff he does in the song.
I thought it was Piano Dan.
Piano Man.
Oh, I guess it was
Piano Man. Billy Joel. I also know When the Saints Go Down, Marching Down. I played that one pretty well. That was one I learned a little early on, and then got better at it. Kind of created my own style with it.
Yeah, but I mean, seriously, a lot of people play the harmonica when they're in jail. It's kind of a blues style, about like somebody.
Yeah.
Idea. Have you ever? I always wondered how them guitar players, they would have their guitar right here and their microphone, or not microphone, but harmonica. Right?
Yeah, I haven't like John Lennon does that in some of their Beatles songs. In their early, and I don't know. I would like. That's what I would like to do, is be able to play the harmonica and the guitar at the same time. That'd be so cool.
I know. I just always wondered how in the world could they do two at the same time and not mess up. I mean, think about it. You'd have to practice it probably 100 times just to get one song down, probably. Because think about it. You're doing. I mean, yeah, you give the. If you do that, you're giving a whole new meaning to the term multitasking.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the two instruments I always wanted to play, was rhythm guitar and steel guitar. Just there's something about that steel guitar that it's just one of those things that you can do anything with it. You can actually play regular guitar on it if you don't have the bar. I mean, the little slide bar that goes with it. But yeah, I always wanted to. Well, the reason I always wanted to play guitar because I always wanted to play George Jones songs.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't have to sing them, but I mean, just to know the chords. If anybody ever needed to know, or you ever had to play, you'd know them. But
yeah.
And the weird thing is, he was notorious for just using 4 chords. I think you'd have A, G7. I think you'd have an E flat and C.
Yeah,
I think so. I mean, that's really 4 chords. I mean, sure, it'd be easy to learn them, but you think about it, you'd have to remember them at certain times. At what word did he change tune, and had to keep up. That'd probably be difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always enjoyed music. But well, let's get off music. We've talked about that for quite a while.
I think that has been most of the show here.
Have you thought about going to college or anything?
I have. I'm actually looking at because what I want to do is major in music I want to do a double major in like music ministry and like media ministry, like film stuff like that. That's what I want to do, film and music.
Have you gotten accepted anywhere?
No, not yet. I'm still looking around.
Well, good. It's good that you're looking as a junior and not a senior.
Yeah.
I'm happy to say I did get accepted at College of Coastal Georgia in Brunswick. I'll be doing accounting because, me, I can remember dates and statistics and everything, and that kind of fits me a lot better than, most other things.
Accounting is something I really like. I enjoy doing it because it's actually pretty fun. And you're in my business class, and we had that whole thing in accounting,
budget challenge and everything, and
we're. I think I don't know if I'm still in the top spot right now, or
I think I'm 7th or 6th.
But I'm actually kind of surprised I'm beating you on that.
Yeah, I think that, like I said, it's like what I told you a couple of weeks ago before spring break. It's going to fluctuate. Some people are actually going to give effort and actually try, and they'll actually get to the number 1 spot. Well, then they'll.
Like me.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. There was a span there for 2 weeks where you were number 1. There was a week where I was number 1, and then I think Xander kind of took over for a long time.
And then I came back after, because I came back, but I was in debt. But then because that was spring break, that was spring break. And in that week, I was in debt, and then I came back out of debt, and I wasn't even checking in. So this was like the budget challenge doing it all by itself.
Yeah.
Got me in debt, got me out of debt, and I ended up getting paid more. I don't know how it happened, but
well, somehow you made it work.
I think it's what I did beforehand, because like I saw that it was coming. I saw that I was gonna be in debt, so I think I changed my options for the 401k percentage. But
I wonder if the reason why they call it 401k, that's the most you can put in your retirement, is $401,000.
I don't know, but yeah, accounting. I remember we did the accounting test in business, and she said whoever gets 100 can get a free 2-liter bottle of soda.
And I won that.
Yeah,
I think
I got a 2-liter of A&W, and I don't remember what you got.
I got Pepsi.
That's right.
But yeah,
that's funny.
I remember I think she said there was a bunch of people that got 105 because she gave a bonus, and if you got 105 out of 100, I mean, then you got the extra drink. But sad to say, I forgot it the day I got it. I mean, the day I got it, I forgot it in that class. I came back the next day. She somehow took it and gave it right back to me. I drank half of it, and I forgot it again in that class.
Oh, my word.
And then somebody finally took it, but I didn't care. I mean, I was trying to lay off the sweets. And I'm happy to say I've gone on a strict water diet, and it's helping. It's helping.
That's good.
I know. I think I started the year around 350, and I think I'm down to like 330, 320 something.
That's cool.
Well, it's just, I'm actually starting to care about my health because, I mean, think about it. I could walk out of that door and then all of a sudden have a seizure and end up being diabetic. So, I mean, you never know. But I've always wanted to take good care of my body and everything. And since I'll be working all summer, that'll keep me busy. That'll keep me going. And so I'll probably lose more weight doing that.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
But yeah, it's always good to take good care of your body. Of course, I do eat a lot of protein. I do eat a lot of steak, sad to say, because I can't resist a steak.
Steak is really good. I mean, I'm a burger guy, so
what type of steak do you like?
I do like flat iron steaks.
Oh,
flat iron steaks are one of my more.
You like flank steaks? You like flank steaks?
Flank steaks? I think I've had a flank steak before.
They're like really wide, but very thin. They're kind of like They're probably as thick as this. I'd say about 2 of these wires. They're about that thick, but they're really big. They're kind of. I mean, you can eat them just as a steak, but they're kind of better for chopping up, adding. They're better for adding as ingredients because they're very lean, not a lot of fat. But I'm a porterhouse man. I love the porterhouse. It's basically the T-bone's daddy. You get a much bigger fillet, and you probably get more marbling. And you get the fillet and you get the New York strip, which is, in my opinion, 2 of the best steaks right next to the ribeye. But
man, we're talking about steak now. I'm getting pretty hungry.
Oh, me too. Where's the vending machine?
Forget the vending machine. Let's just go to Longhorn or something.
Tell you one thing, they serve good food there, but good Lord, it's expensive.
Yeah, I mean, steak can be pretty pricey.
I mean, I just got, scratch that. I did get the biggest steak they had, which is, they changed the name of it. It used to be called the Longhorn Porterhouse. Now it's called the Longhorn. And 2, they actually got a bigger steak. It used to be a 20-ounce porterhouse, but now it's a 22-ounce porterhouse. So, I mean, I'm happy about that. But just for me alone, just to eat there by myself and not really go overboard, still cost me $34 to eat there.
And so, you eat the whole 22 ounces.
I ate everything but the bone. But then again, I can put down a steak probably faster than anybody. But then again, there's probably people who can eat faster than me.
I don't know what the biggest steak I've eaten.
I know the world record.
What?
I think it was 96.
96 ounces.
There was a lady on YouTube that finished a 96-ounce steak in less than, I'd say, an hour.
Wow.
I mean, she really horked it down.
I don't think I could do that ever. I don't know if I could do 22.
I'd like to give it a try. I mean, I'm sad to say I'll probably never do it, but I mean, I'd like to, come in there I'd like to go in there with an empty stomach and a bunch of glasses of water and, try to finish it in 1 hour.
Yeah, I don't know what the biggest steak I've had is, but that's enough steak talk.
All right.
I'm getting kind of hungry
over here.
Yeah, we talked about music. We talked about the spring sports. We talked about steak. And let's just talk about you right now.
All right.
What, you said you were gonna talk about your history.
Talk about old memories. I remember when I was a kid. I remember one time I slammed my sister's finger in the door.
Oh yeah,
and it got purple and it looked like a big old plum.
Oh,
and I mean, I was just jumping up and down laughing.
So you've grown up around here.
I was born in Thomasville, but I mainly I've kind of grew up divided evenly. I have 7 years in Quitman. Right now, where I live in Monticello, Florida, on a plantation. So I mean, 7 years there, 7 years there, and I hope we can make it 8 to break the spell because we've literally moved every 7 years. So
Wow.
I mean, but yeah, I've always been in this school system. I would have gone to Jefferson County High School because I mean it's 5-minute drive from my house.
Yeah.
Even though I live deep in the country, I mean if I go 85 miles an hour down a country road, I can be at that school in 5 minutes. But the weird thing is, before I actually applied to go there, I looked them up, and turns out they were the worst high school in the state. The worst.
Wow.
Not to be rude to anybody who actually goes
Wow.
there. It's just the people they had running that.
It's the facts. You looked it up.
Yeah, and it was actually by the state of Florida. So I mean, they had no disciplinary system. The kids were scratch that. Their students struggled to make D's. You know how a lot of students around here struggle to make A on a roll?
Yep.
They were struggling to make D's on grades.
I
mean, it was just horrible. I mean, they had the resources, but they had people spending money where they didn't need to spend it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had. I think a charter school eventually took them over because the state got tired of them failing and got tired of giving them more and more money, thinking it would fix their situation, but it didn't. So a charter school took it over, and they're implying a modern school system, with more disciplined rules and stricter, things. Because I mean, they let a lot of things slide, and things just didn't, really pan out the way they wanted it.
Yeah, we have a really good school here and really good system here.
Well, I think the reason why we have a lot of, extra things that most other schools don't have, like I know a bunch of schools that don't have an agriculture program like we do.
I mean, the broadcasting room is a great example. There are so many, like, this is one of a kind. Like, you're not going to find something like this.
Yeah, you're not going to find this at a high school in South Dakota somewhere.
You're not going to find it anywhere else.
And really. I think I know why. Since, I don't know if you knew this, but, Thomasville has a rich history of the South. And
yeah.
Actually, Thomasville at one point had more millionaires living here than New York City and Washington, D.C. combined.
Wow, that's crazy.
And think about it, that spread over hundreds and hundreds of little 1,000-acre plantations.
I did not know that, actually. That's pretty interesting.
But think about it, with all those millionaires paying taxes, bring in a lot more revenue than most other towns.
Yeah.
This place is known for quail hunting, and it's popular on plantations, so therefore the city always had more money to give to the schools for education, and that's why we have all these luxuries. And I'm glad that we're doing a lot better as a school to make people take advantage. I mean, sure, this sound set, right? Isn't that what it is?
It's a soundboard.
I mean, think about it. With all them buttons, you'd think it looked complicated, but didn't you only have to press 2 or 3 buttons and change a couple things to really get it going?
Yep.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Where you took advantage of it. You did it as a youngin'. And just like me, I took advantage of computer science, and I enjoyed it. It's sad to say it's not something I want to do with my life, but that would probably be a secondary option. But I really want to go into accounting. But then again, nothing's never certain, but that's what I intend to go into. But I've always had a good sense of money management because, I'm not going to tell you how much I make a summer, but I make pretty good money over the summer.
That's really good. That's really good.
Well, I thought, because most 18-year-olds like us, I mean, what happens if we get money? We're going to spend it.
Yeah.
But I mean, if an 18-year-old has enough sense to, I've got X amount of money. I want to be able to go to school and not get a job. I worked all summer. Let me try to conserve this as much as possible. That way I don't have to get a job a month before school and, end up failing some classes just because I was working and not studying. And so I really did a good job of conserving my money and making it last. Like I'm still making it last right now. I've got 25 days to go before I don't have to come back here, and I've still got a good bit left. So I'm trying to, just.
And then you're going to be off to college. So that'd be cool.
Well, I'm going to start college in the fall quarter. I'm not going to do summer because I got to work the summer to build my funds back up.
You'll start in the 2018-2019 school season. So
I would have done the spring of 2019, but we're kind of in a transition right now. But I wouldn't say really a transition. Just, things are happening, things are changing, and just trying to keep up with the times rather than, trying to fix stuff or work on stuff. So we're just trying to keep it all together. And two, it's going to be a long drive from Brunswick to Monticello, Florida. I promise you that. But
yeah. Well, we've had a long show today. It's about ending around 45 minutes. So we're going to wrap it up. It's been really nice having you on the show again, Colin. We always have so many good things to talk about.
Oh, yes.
Hopefully next time we can get our friend Jason on the show, so we could all start talking about our favorite mobile video game. Yes, I said a video game because we are teenagers. We do play those.
Yes, we're still youngins in some cases.
It's kind of like what you may have heard of Fortnite. It is a mobile version of that called Rules of Survival, and it's a really great. It's a really great game that me, Colin, and Jason have played for
since halfway through the year.
Yeah, for quite a while now. So hopefully next time we can have them on the show and we can all three talk about that. So thank you everybody for listening. It was really nice having you, Colin.
It was a pleasure to be here as always.
Yeah, and we'll be here next week. We don't have a set schedule yet, but we just do it whenever we can. We try to do kind of like an every other day thing, but this week was kind of a special case because we did it yesterday and today as well. But yep, thank you for watching and have a good day.
Bye-bye.